We all like a good space game, right? Well, fortunately, next week there should be a bunch of new demos available as a part of Steam's Next Fest. So in this video, I'm going to take a look at some of that, but also I want to take a quick look at some of the demos that are already available if you want to check those out as well. So we've got a nice selection of different space games here. I'm a huge fan of deep, complex space sims, but I'm also a fan of arcade-styled space combat shooters. Rogueflight then is an arcade space combat shooter that essentially is an on-rail shooter, and it blends classic 80s and 90s anime aesthetics with what appears to be modern gameplay. Now, set 3 years after an AI system named Argus has decimated Earth in a catastrophic 3-day war, humanity's last hope lays in an experimental spacecraft called the Arrow, and guess what? You're the person who gets to pilot this. The game then follows a predetermined path, which allows for some free movement on screen to dodge enemies and fire and collect power-ups, but armed with a primary machine gun cannon, lock-on missiles, you get to unlock additional weapons along the way, and these include things such as lasers and wave projectiles. There's also a few other things going on here, such as the ability to flip the ship around and unleash a shockwave on your enemies. Another maneuver here includes barrel rolls, speed boosts, and drifts that can even temporarily slow down time. So all of these combine to be crucial for dogfighting and maintaining your attacks and combo meter whilst under assault. Now, Rogueflight features 9 unique stages across the solar system, and each of these ends with a massive boss battle. In addition to standard arcade mode, the game also offers different modes that include the roguelite salty and a retro mode that kind of recaptures a 16-bit vibe. And with that in mind, you can see from the footage on the screen here that the designs, the overall aesthetics are certainly very much retro and from that 90s and 80s time period. There's even an element here of using some VHS style effects. So if you want to jump into an intense combat shooter, this could very well be the way to go. If, on the other hand, you want something a little bit different, well, there's Void Souls. So, Void Souls is a single-player game. It's also an action-adventure RPG, and it's set in a somewhat vast, as well as a mysterious area of outer space. And in this game, you assume the control of a captain. But not only that, the very unusual thing here is the ship itself. This looks like a ship from out of the past, except it's floating there in space, and it is a state-of-the-art flying ship, a galleon of sorts. Now, as you explore a variety of strange worlds, you'll uncover strange artifacts and dark secrets, all of which hint at a deeper, somewhat more sinister truth that's hidden behind a cosmic vow. Now, the game combines elements of exploration and combat and narrative decision-making, and you're going to be required to upgrade your ship's capabilities by enhancing its engines, weaponry, and defensive systems, all to survive encounters with the various hostile forces. And this, of course, quite naturally, I guess, includes ancient alien constructs and supernatural threats. Combat involves intense ship-to-ship battles where strategic maneuvering and quick reflexes are all the aim of the game. The narrative itself is influenced by your choices, and every decision, from whom you trust to whom you engage with in battle or retreat from, does shape the story and leads to a variety of different endings. The demo for this one is going to be available during Steam Next Fest, which starts next week. Now, if you're looking for some more of an in-depth sort of space simulation game, then you could check out Beyond Frontiers. This is a game that offers players a large open universe, and it's filled with a whole lot of different encounters. In the game, you pilot a wide variety of different ships, and this ranges from nimble fighters to massive cargo ships, and each of these exhibit unique maneuvering characteristics. Now, the people who've played the available demo have said that the flight mechanics mastering this is pretty much essential to getting on well in the game, so it sounds at least like it does have a pretty decent flight model. The combat system, meanwhile, features responsive targeting and some decent weapon controls. The universe itself is divided among 3 major factions, and these shape the dynamic of the economy as well as some of the narrative as well. Each of these factions takes a different approach to its place within the galaxy. Now, Beyond Frontiers does have some voice acting. In fact, it's currently got over 20 hours of fully voiced campaign content, and that's somewhat unusual perhaps for an indie game, so it's nice to see that. And although not a traditional multiplayer game, its multiverse chat system connects players in-game and various different communications to platforms like Discord, and this really allows you to connect with other players whilst you're still inside the game itself, so something that we don't see too often. It seems overall then that the game has drawn some inspiration from a variety of games which include the X series, Freelancer and even EVE Online. A space game then that's all about exploring, trading and many other traditional space sim aspects. Moving on, we come to Whispers of the Void, and this is a very different game. This is a narrative-driven sci-fi title, and it's built exclusively for virtual reality. So yeah, that's good news for all you VR fans out there. So yeah, the game is specifically designed for VR, and this really does drop you into a somewhat tactical and lifelike environment with interactions that really do bring some immersion. So yeah, all hands on here, as you can see in the footage. Now you pilot your spaceship through dangerous asteroid belts and uncharted regions of space, whilst utilising various different onboard systems, and this can include things such as the galaxy map, which allow you to move between the various different worlds. On these worlds, you explore various different crafted environments, and these can include things such as ancient tombs and alien landscapes to futuristic temples, all of which may contain different puzzles. The environments themselves do have challenges, and these require you to manipulate objects, solve sound sequence puzzles, and even harness the energy system, the game's energy system, to unlock new areas and progress through the various different missions. The combat in the game is a blend of traditional gameplay and melee sword fighting, so it really sounds like there's a nice mix of different components here. This one is available both to buy right now and also has a demo available over on Steam. Next up, we come to Hyper Empire. This is a fast-paced empire management game, and if you're a fan of the huge 4X strategy type games like Stellaris, then you might want to take a look at this because it takes a slightly different approach. Instead of these big, long, protracted game sessions, Hyper Empire moves things down into shorter, decision-critical sessions. So in this single-player game, you assume the control of one of 5 unique factions. Each of these has distinct ships and specialised mechanics. As you lead your faction to victory, your strategic choices span colonising planets, managing precious resources, and expanding your empire's infrastructure. The game itself demands a balance of military might, economic planning, and technological advancements, as well as faith-based investments. Combat unfolds through a dynamic auto-battle system where you can directly control the flagship's weaponry. This requires quick tactical adjustments in the heat of battle, in the heat of the moment, so you do have some control over the combat there. Now, multiple paths to victory do allow you to progress through the game according to your own choice, and this means you can outlast opponents via resilience or succeed through a trade and innovation. And this is also set against an interesting backdrop, because you'll find that there's pirate raids, as well as random events and opportunities such as taking on and recruiting heroes, which all add to some unpredictability for each playthrough. Hyper Empire then is a pretty interesting take on the 4X strategy games. This one isn't out just yet. It does have a Q1 2025 release. Fingers crossed it's going to make a demo available during Steam Next Fest, so do keep an eye out for that. The final space game I want to talk about is Warped Space. Now, this is an in-depth sci-fi survival adventure, and it's set in space itself, deep space in fact. So at the start of the game, you'll find yourself stranded as you've awoken from stasis. So here, you'll also discover an open-world environment that's filled with asteroid belts, abandoned outposts, eerie wrecks, and mysterious alien bases as well. All of this is set in a hostile cosmos, and that means managing your resources such as oxygen, food, water, and fuel are all critical for survival. As both organic and inorganic life forms pose various different threats to you, it means that you're going to have to choose when to engage in combat or opt for more strategic evasion. Exploration, meanwhile, is multifaceted, and that involves on-foot EVA missions as well as ship-based missions as well. I don't know too much about this particular game right now. There's not a whole lot of information out about it, but this one does look especially interesting. This one is going to have a demo available for it during Steam Next Fest, so if you want to give that one a try, do keep an eye out for it. In fact, check out the links in the video description and perhaps add it to your wish list. So that brings us to an end of this video. Thanks for watching this one all the way through. There is another one on the screen right now if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll catch you next time.